Fire in the Sky, a documentary on the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by Henry Prevey. In 1933, Adolf Hitler came into power in Germany. Hitler hoped to bring together all the German people of the world and restore Germany to its pre-World War I greatness. He allied himself with the Italian dictatorship and the Japanese Empire. These three countries formed the Axis powers. The Axis powers were widely considered to be the largest threat to democracy in the world. These fears were heightened when Germany annexed Austria in 1938. Britain and France declared war on the Axis powers shortly after. Japan had allied itself with the Axis powers and attacked China, which was allied with the US. In response, the USA leveled heavy tariffs on Japan and stopped exporting oil to them. It was widely believed that the USA would soon join the war. Japan wanted to attack them first and land a crippling blow. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese Navy and the Japanese Air Force launched a surprise attack on the USA naval base, killing over 2,400 people and destroying 8 American warships. On December 8th, the United States of America entered World War II. During the summer of 1944, Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, liberating most of France. Combined with the devastating assault by the Soviet Union, most of Europe had been liberated from the Axis powers. Italy had surrendered. The end was near for the European Axis. Berlin was the last Nazi stronghold. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler and the rest of the Nazi generals committed suicide. Hitler's successor immediately surrendered to the Allied powers. However, one of the Axis powers still stood. Japan was keeping up a strong offense. The American and the Japanese were evenly matched. The USA was making progress in the Pacific, but many people were dying. The current plan for the defeat of Japan was a naval invasion of the Kanto Plain in Japan, followed by an assault on Tokyo. The invasion would be extremely costly, nearly 250,000 lives on both sides in the first 3 weeks. The plan was unpopular, but there seemed no other way. Back in the USA, a major project was underway. The Manhattan Project, a secret project funded by the U.S. military. Its goal was to create an atomic bomb. The hope was to detonate it on Japan to force the Japanese to surrender. Security on the project was extreme. Scientists who worked with the project were not even allowed to tell the families about the work they were doing. On July 16, 1945, at the Alamogordo bombing range, an atomic bomb was detonated. The explosion was equal to 22 megatons of TNT. The blast was so hot, desert sand in the nearby area was turned to glass. The scientists had expected the blast to be powerful, but it was bigger than even they had calculated. James Robert Oppenheimer commented afterward, "We knew the world would not be the same. A few people laughed, a few people cried. Most were silent." I remember a line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another. On April 12, 1945, Franklin Delano Roosevelt suffered a massive hemorrhage and died. The next day, Harry S. Truman became president. He then learned of the atomic bomb. Shortly after, he gave the military permission to use it against the Japanese. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. The bomb killed nearly 75,000 people and 1,000 more dying. Downtown was leveled in an instant, yet the Japanese government refused to surrender. The atomic bombing was not a victimless act. Thousands of people were affected. Here are some of their stories. Yasujo Tanaka was 3 when the bomb dropped. His house was destroyed, trapping him under it. He was pulled out and barely survived. However, he lost hearing in his left ear. Takato Mishishita was with his mom grocery shopping when a plane was spotted. They ducked into a store. Moments later, the bomb dropped. He sustained only minor injuries. However, his school was right next to the epicenter of the blast. Everyone there was killed. Emilia Okada lost her older sister to the bomb. Afterwards, she became very sick. Her hair fell out, she vomited, and her gums bled profusely. Masakuto Obata was working in the Mitsubishi plant when the bomb was dropped. He was knocked unconscious by the air blast. When he woke, the walls of the factory had been blown clean off. Many of his co-workers lay dead nearby. Many of those who did not die then died shortly after from radiation burns. 3 days later, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki by the Boxcar. The initial blast killed nearly 50,000 people. On September 2nd, 1945, Japan unconditionally surrendered to the United States, ending one of the bloodiest conflicts in history. In the following years, thousands more people died to radiation from the bombs. Both Hiroshima and Nagasaki have been rebuilt. Atomic bombs have never been used in war again. However, since 1945, multiple countries have developed atomic weapons, including Russia, United States, France, United Kingdom, India, Israel, and North Korea. Part of the reason we still talk about the atomic bombings is the morality of them. The bombs may have ended one of the bloodiest wars in history and saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of soldiers, but is it worth the bombing of a civilian population? I'll leave you with these quotes, and the decision is yours to make.